Hey guys, another question I've got here is apparently didn't want their sheet uh, just wrote on the back of it, but it says how close of a friend should you be with a non-Christian? All right, so my first question for the person asking the question and for anyone who is considering this question is what is the gender of the other person and what are your intentions? Um, if you're asking about a non-Christian friend who is of the opposite gender and you're intending on dating them, then you should stop. Don't do that. You should not be dating non-Christians. It's just out of the question. Now, if someone's professing Christianity and they turn out to not be a Christian, that's a different story and that's a more complicated situation. But someone who is actively against and opposed to Christianity, if you are intending to date that person, you should not do that. All right. So that's my first clarification there. Now, in generally speaking, I think that it is best for Christians, for their closest friends, to be other Christians. And the reason I say this is because ultimately what other Christians need is other Christians. We build each other up, we teach each other, we help one another when we are in need. And this is part of why the local body is so important. Being part of a church is so important. And then having a smaller circle of close friends that are Christians is invaluable for the Christian life. It really is. And so if all of your close friends are not Christian, then I would recommend to seek to create closer friends with Christians that you know. And Christians that will build you up, that will pray for you, that will be there when you're in need, that will teach you, that you can learn from, that will help you in discipleship, that can have your back in evangelism, that and that you can just be friends with it. It helps to share a worldview in common when you're friends with somebody, because you're going to look at everything completely differently than someone who isn't a Christian. You're going to, hopefully, you're looking at sports, at video games, at life, at school, at the way you interact with others. It's going to be so different. And so having some close friends that share your worldview is really important. That being said, one of my best friends is not a Christian. He isn't. And we have conversations about Christianity on a regular basis. We talk about these things, but he's not a Christian. And so, and he asks me questions, and he asks me good questions, a lot of the same questions that you guys have asked me. And I answer him, and we talk about it, and I pray for his salvation. But he's not a Christian, so it's not a bad thing. You just have to make sure to watch yourself. You have to watch yourself carefully, because ultimately we do influence each other greatly, and having a lot of close non-Christian friends will influence you in potentially negative ways. We will begin to act like the people that we are around, the people we look up to, the people that we spend a lot of time with, that we talk the most with, and so you just have to be careful. By all means, be friends with non-Christians, please. That is one of the ways in which we do evangelism. The way we live life as Christians is we live at peace with the non-Christians, and insofar as we are able to do so. And through that, we show them the way God has changed our lives, and then more importantly, we tell them about how God has changed our lives. And doing that in the context of a friendship is important, because ultimately when they find themselves at the end of their rope, who are they going to turn to? Their other atheistic friend who can give them no hope, or to their Christian friend who has hope, who seems to have answers? They're going to go to you. And so it's important to have those friendships, but it's also very important to have close Christian friends. And so there's a balance involved, like with most things in the Christian life. But yeah, so ideally you can do both. But if you find yourself in a situation where you find yourself influenced in a way in which you're acting against the Bible, against Christianity, if you find yourself in that kind of situation, then maybe you need to not be friends with that person anymore. That's sometimes possible as well. And so it's a case by case kind of thing. I can't give you a nice, neat, packaged answer to this question. Besides, it's okay to be friends with a non-Christian. I can tell you that in most circumstances, not in all of them, right? It depends on what's going on. So, if the person who asks has a specific situation that they would like to ask me about, where they can give me more detail, then I can give you a more detailed answer. But just as a general answer, that's my general answer. So, all right, next question.